take a slow, intentional breath with me before we begin to unravel the noise. Breathe in the cool air. Feel it cleaning your lungs and expanding your chest. Let that air settle deep within you for just a quiet moment. Now, exhale slowly through your mouth. And as you do this, feel the heavy strain in your neck and your shoulders begin to soften. Even if your thoughts have been running without a single moment of rest today, this space belongs entirely to you. You are here right now, and that alone is more than enough. You do not have to perform. You do not have to achieve. You just have to breathe. There is a very specific, heavy kind of mental exhaustion that has absolutely nothing to do with physical tiredness. It is exhaustion that defies sleep. Your muscles may be completely at rest, your eyes may be gently closed, and your physical body may lie perfectly still in the quiet, dark sanctuary of the night. Yet, despite the stillness of the room, your mind flatly refuses to slow down. It keeps endlessly circling the exact same thoughts, aggressively revisiting old moments from days or years ago, meticulously rehearsing future conversations that haven't happened, and frantically calculating outcomes that may never actually occur in reality. It feels in those heavy hours as if your thoughts have taken on a chaotic life of their own. They loop again and again, spinning faster and faster, until your chest begins to tighten, your heart rate shifts, and your breath becomes shallow and restricted. Please understand this deeply. Overthinking is not simply a matter of thinking too much. It is thinking in a way that feels like absolute captivity. It is the persistent, involuntary replay of mental scenarios that actively drain your life force energy rather than offering you any real clarity or resolution. It is the subconscious habit of trying to perfectly predict every facet of life so you can avoid the sharp emotional pain you once felt in your past. It is the exhausted mind desperately attempting to control what cannot be controlled. And when you live in that hypervigilant state long enough, even the simplest, most mundane daily decisions begin to feel entirely overwhelming. Even the most beautiful silence suddenly becomes unbearably loud, filled with the echoes of your own anxiety. If you carry this kind of invisible mental weight, I want you to hear this with absolute gentleness. Nothing about you is broken. You are not defective. Overthinking is almost always the human brain's desperate, intuitive attempt to create a sense of safety in a world that has, at various times in your life, felt deeply uncertain, chaotic, or unforgiving. It is a protective survival response, not a personal flaw or a weakness in your character. Your mind is fiercely trying to shield your fragile heart from harm, even if that protective shield has eventually become much heavier and more painful than the very fear it was built to fight. This process of overthinking almost always begins quietly under the radar. These feelings often start with a tiny, innocent doubt. Just a subtle worry from a passing comment, or a fleeting concern about tomorrow. But then the hypervigilant mind begins turning it over, holding it up under different lights, and exhaustively examining it from every conceivable direction. It asks the agonizing question, what if, again and again, hoping against hope that somewhere deep inside the exhausting repetition, there will finally be an answer that eases the terror. But that perfect answer never arrives. Because overthinking does not resolve uncertainty, it deepens it. It feeds the fire it is trying to put out. Many people in our fast-paced society falsely believe that overthinking is a noble sign of high intelligence, deep awareness, or supreme responsibility. But overthinking is not true insight. It is destructive rumination. It is the brilliant mind caught helplessly in a toxic loop of endless prediction and desperate self-protection. Sometimes it stems directly from perfectionism, the deep, painful inner belief that if you just think long enough, analyze hard enough, and prepare perfectly enough, you can completely avoid making mistakes and escape judgment. Sometimes it comes from unhealed past experiences, shattering moments when you were completely blindsided, betrayed, or deeply hurt because you didn't see it coming. Your mind vows to never let that happen again. Sometimes it comes from low self-trust, a state where you cannot fully believe in your own internal judgment, so you seek endless external validation through analyzing every variable. And sometimes it simply comes from raw emotional fatigue, when your mind is simply too overwhelmed and exhausted to find the strength to rest. So many people live with this silent, raging storm every single day, yet so few ever dare to speak about it out loud. They carry it quietly behind polite smiles. They mistakenly assume it is normal. They assume it is entirely their fault. They tell themselves they should be able to just stop thinking. But overthinking is not a simple switch you can just turn off like a light bulb. It is a deeply ingrained habit of the human nervous system. It is a protective pattern built over years of survival. And deep patterns only soften through gentle understanding and compassion, never through force or self-reproach. You might notice these heavy signs scattered throughout your own life. The difficulty falling asleep because your brain insists on replaying the entire day's events. The exhaustion of overanalyzing casual conversations long after they have ended, dissecting every tone and silence. The paralyzing fear of questioning every single decision, big or small, terrified of making the wrong move. The exhausting habit of imagining worst-case scenarios as if they are absolute, inevitable prophecies. If these experiences feel familiar to your soul, take another slow, deep breath with me right now. Inhale softly, bringing calm to your chest. Exhale gently, letting the world spin without you for a moment. What you are feeling is beautifully, painfully human. You are carrying a heavy shield, but in this safe space, you are allowed to put it down. You do not have to live inside the storm forever. If this quiet reflection brought a sense of validation and peace to your mind today, consider subscribing. Keep this channel as your safe harbor, a gentle space to return to whenever your thoughts become a little too loud to bear.